Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like it if you're being yourself, fuck them.
It's Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
And welcome to another episode of The Noize. The usual promo. I hit the hell out this mic just now. If you haven't yet, follow us on the big three, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Noize Podcast. And follow everything Beat Network, beatnetworkonline.com. And we finally don't have 40 fucking announcements to make.
That's true.
The beginning of the show.
That's true.
Yet. We're going to return back to it. But we are here at The Noize, and we have a special guest in the building. We had one half on the show many a times, Jay Alonzo, but we finally
right.
have his co-host here. We've talked this man up maybe on like 3 episodes. The world finally was able to see him at Cognac Conversations, which we will also get into. So, ladies and gentlemen, ear hustlers of The Noize, welcome David Danger Neff.
Hey, what's going on, people?
He's in the building.
Finally, I'm on here.
Well, you know what? The reason you weren't on last time we tried to have you on is a fantastic reason. If I had to be surrounded by the beautiful women that you were surrounded by, then I'm like, you know.
Well, that's fair. I mean, yeah, like.
Wait, why do I know this story?
He was out of the country.
No, I was out of country.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was out in Belize.
Yeah. That's
living his best life.
Definitely ain't going back and forth with you, Nick.
How you doing, sir?
You know, it's good. You know, it's Friday.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how happy I am that
it's my Sunday,
Friday.
So fuck that.
All right, well.
I hear it.
I'm sorry. But it is absolutely amazing. No, I'm good. You know, things have been kind of rolling steadily forward and up instead of like this year has just been a roller coaster of emotions. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm Will Ferrell from Anchorman. I'm just like in this glass case of like
of just all emotions.
And finally, like I felt like somebody kind of creaked the door open to kind of let it all out.
Just let at least let the farts out. You know, what
absolutely, yeah. You know,
take out some of the pressure.
Fresh, I get that smell. You know, it gets a little musty in there.
It gets a little real. It gets a little real. Well, we appreciate finally getting you on the show. It was something I wanted to ask you about. Did you see Venom?
I did.
Okay, so I have to know because I still haven't watched it yet.
Me either.
I've been getting the most mixed reviews. I either get people that
hate it or love it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like I mean, love it. Like it's the return of whatever the case may be.
Okay, that's interesting.
Hey, listen, people been gassing it. Then there's been people like, y'all can just go ahead and throw this away.
Right.
We don't need this anymore.
We don't want it.
All right, so it depends on what you're going into the movie for. Like, here's the thing. It's Sony. So it's like, this is their first like ever project. So it's like the way that I had to look at it is I had to see how does it compare to say what we got from DC with their real first movie, which was Man of Steel. Mm-hmm. And then what we got from Marvel, which was, I mean, I guess we could say Blade, but we'll go ahead and say Iron Man
when they
just
say
for the sake
MCU,
of MCU, right? I gotta say, like it does a good job on a lot of things. A lot of it is based upon the chemistry of Tom Hardy Tom Hardy more than anything because he voices Venom as well. The action sequences I thought were phenomenal. I did think the writing could have probably been shored up, but look, if you're just looking for a dumb popcorn flick, like it does its job and it does it really well. You know, but if you're looking for like a super serious and like I want an in-depth story, then no, don't bother. You're wasting your time. And I feel bad because, you know, obviously my co-host Jay Alonzo, like he's kind of out of commission right now. So it's like we want to get back. We want to get back to doing what we love when it comes to talking movies and whatnot. You know, so it's going to be a little bit, but we're going to get back to it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And I feel no more swayed to see the movie based off of that quick review.
I'm going to watch it because it's there, I guess, but I'm not going to break my neck to go see it.
Now, one thing I will talk about that has been released, obviously, is the post-credit scenes where they introduce Cletus Cassidy. If you don't know who that is Carnage. And
we got to talk about that wig real quick.
Yeah, I'm like, I wasn't feeling like that Wendy's type of.
It was Wendy's. It also looked like
Homie the Clownish,
like Pippi Longstocking.
Yeah, it was a few different people, and I didn't agree with it, especially with Woody Harrelson. And then I kind of thought, and this is me obviously watching a pirated clip online, you know, of the end credit scene, and I'm just like, I'm not Like you're giving me a psycho, but you're giving me more of like a clown psycho.
See, and I felt like they did that ending clip with the wig and everything as sort of a teaser. It'll definitely be something different,
completely different,
when it comes out. So I have a little bit more confidence in that. But yeah, no, I wasn't feeling it. No, he looked like a really tore up match is what he looked like. like a match, like he had a bundle of matches, but like the wick of it just kind of got like spread out and whatnot. So it's kind of like cotton candy.
That's a good analogy.
No, it's funny. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen any of it.
But you know what though? Seeing that clip, I was like, see, they could have easily got Matthew McConaughey to play.
Absolutely. You know, I would have been fine with that as well.
It's going to be carnage. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
all right.
I know Dave has. Have you seen Sorry to Bother You?
No, not yet.
I'll wait till you. I'll wait till you see it.
There's a lot to talk about with that.
Y'all might as well go into it.
No, I'm not because I want you to see it because I want your input.
But I'm saying you can't ruin movies for me. Like you can tell me the whole synopsis of the joint, and I'm still gonna go see it.
Kev, what did you think? I gotta be honest.
I was fine up until a certain point. I was like. He's touching, he's saying some stuff, especially working at a call center. Like, I get it, you know what I mean? Different stuff. And it was going a long way, and I thought, got it. And then the shit just,
and then it
flip-flopped on me. I was like,
what
the fuck?
They did the horse thing.
Yeah, that horse thing I wasn't too fond of. Like,
what was the horse thing?
All right, so.
Spoiler.
Look, full spoilers at this point, guys. So, the movie is really kind of like this metaphor for how corporations are really like trying to take over literally everything that we do.
Mm-hmm. I was fine with that.
And it's good when it's hitting on its metaphors. You also have the sense of activism that's like really trying to reach out, and how some people just don't know how to get behind activism in the right way. Mm-hmm. And then the movie flips its script the minute Armie Hammer is like introduced. Armie Hammer is a good actor. Let me be fair. Yeah. All right. But
his name is so weird though. It sounds like something very military.
Like, the shit went all over the place.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden they're like, all right, we have this strand of cocaine that when you snort it, like it's going to eventually turn you into a literal bipedal horse.
Horse
straight up with horse dick and everything.
Yeah, you got strength of a horse, but you're a person. You still talk. But you're like I said, the same look that you have. The same look that you have.
I say this is a movie about phone centers.
When I got done watching that movie, I was like, "What the fuck?" Did I just
I'm gonna top all of this when you guys are done.
Right, now, when you remember, we were actually considering doing a review for this until we saw it, and I was like, I don't know how to review this movie.
I remember you saying that because like the day we talked about that, I was like, is it really like that? It was one of those things I say when I see it, and I saw it, I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Right.
What did I just watch?
It was literally like, all right. What it is that it's like, you know how Tommy Wiseau has the room and like he's throwing out all sorts of fucking ideas. That's exactly what happens here with Boots. Like, he literally goes and he's just like, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to direct a movie again. So I want people to turn into horses at the end.
Yeah, everybody in the writing room that had an idea, they all got used for this movie.
That's like, whatever you got.
It wasn't nothing that, you in a room, you're like, I don't know if that'll work. It was not throw that in there too.
So nothing was on the cutting room floor.
No.
And it's crazy because as much as we can talk about it and kind of give you a gist of what it is, we can't really show you what the movie is about until you actually see it.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
But it's gonna be one of those things like no bullshit. You're gonna message me like, Kev, what the fuck did I just watch?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
You didn't even gotta tell me the title. As soon as you say that, I already know what you watched.
I may not have seen Venom, and I may not have seen Sorry to Bother You, but I did see Tales from the Hood 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why?
First of all, let's dissect this real quick.
I was scrolling
before we get into the show.
And I started laughing like, did they really do this?
So this is exactly how it happened. I promise you. I just put on Netflix. I saw the announcement that Tales from the Hood 2 was happening.
I didn't see an announcement. That's crazy.
I saw the announcement. I remember thinking like, what? Y'all really gonna do a Tales from the Hood 2? And then in my optimistic mind, I was like, okay, it's 2018. We got way better, we got
some dope part 2 movies.
We got some shit going on. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw it and I was like, okay. Cause when I was like, first of all, I didn't even know it got released. I just remember the announcement, and then 3 months later, it was on Netflix. That should have been my first red flag. So I finally watched the movie, and let me tell y'all, have y'all seen the original Tales from the Hood?
Well,
Once a long time ago.
Yeah, I guess so. Notice about.
So
I can keep my black card.
So yeah, exactly. You still got it. You still got a stamp. So one thing with the original Tales from the Hood, it was cheesy. However, it was still enjoyable. You were still able to get something from it, some elements of horror. Tales from the Hood 2.
But some of the elements of the hood too, like
and some of the elements from the hood.
Right.
Tales from the Hood 2 voided all of that shit. They voided the horror. They voided the hood. This is just Tales. That's all this movie should have been called at the end of the day. Tales 2, T2, like Terminator. Just go straight to it. Bruh. All right. So you guys remember in the first Tales from the Hood where they had the little, dolls, dude called them Nigglets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a part 2 of that with Tales from the Hood too. Like they go to this voodoo dude's house. Well, first of all, you remember in the original where the devil, he owned a full mortuary, whatever. The new guy is going to some politician's reveal of like this super cop. So it's sci-fi out the gate. And the dude that's playing the devil is my man's that played Nunu's daddy on ATL. I can't even think of his name, but
I can't think of it.
I know you're talking about.
I'm trying to think what else was he in?
He's in a lot of stuff.
He's in a lot of stuff. But the fact that he was the most famous person in this movie, everybody else was just people. Hey, you want to be in a movie? Like, sure. I got an hour. Let's make this happen. So anyway, so the first story was kind of a continuation of the dolls thing, but it's a completely different voodoo doll. This time was it was a voodoo doll of like the minstrel show era. And this white girl was trying to buy it because she thought it was cute. And the dude was trying to tell her, like, they come from years of being picked on and years of racism, stuff like that. And she still wanted to buy it. So they break into the place to steal the doll. I shit you not. The doll comes to life. And I know what you're thinking. I know you think it's like Chucky. No. No. Y'all see the videos of like the people dressed up like cartoon characters and they dancing and stuff like that. Yeah. They took a fucking puppet and made it like you saw the dude's neck inside the suit. They took the actual doll and they made it life size. Like they was like, where'd the doll go? And then it flashes up with the little, suspense music, and it's just a random motherfucker that's standing in a whole ass suit. So they killed. It was 3 of them. They killed a black girl. He whips the white dude to death with a whip. And when I mean whip him to death, like he whipped him so much in his chest that his intestines falls out.
Oh my God.
With terrible CGI, by the way. They spent easily $35 on this movie. So
Jesus.
Easily. So afterwards, the white girl that was going to buy it, she's like, but I love you. You're so cute and all this other shit. The white girl fucks the doll. The life-size doll.
No.
She fucks the doll. Fast forward 9 months later, she's still in, she wasn't allowed to leave the voodoo place. And the voodoo dude that ran the place was putting up like saran wrap or whatever the case is while she was laying in bed. She was like, for the safety of the baby, we should go to the hospital. And he was like, well, the babies are going to make it. I don't think you are. And he has like this really crazy overacting looking face. So imagine the alien chest burst scene, but then take off like $20,000 to $30,000 off of that budget. The dolls come popping out of her stomach and shoots like 20 dolls. She's crying and she stops. She's like, my babies. And it's just shooting all over the fucking place. And apparently that part of the movie was to speak to, white women fetishizing over black men and black men having babies with white women. Apparently that was to show that it's wrong. It was.
I tell you what,
man, I don't even know how to feel about that.
There's a lot that you can't review this one. I'm telling you.
I tell you what, man. I need to find somebody that works at Netflix because I got a bunch of. If they just giving niggas movies,
they're just handing out checks. They're just handing out checks.
I got a bunch of stuff that we can work on that can be good.
But ultimately, the reason that this version of the devil was telling the stories is because the dude was building like a super cop that was ultimately like was able to tell who is a felon, who is actual danger against America.
So it's RoboCop.
It's RoboCop, but the cop was very, very cheesy. It was a mix between like Remember Alpha 5 from Power Rangers? It was basically Alpha 5 from Power Rangers, just like a 6-foot Alpha 5 from Power Rangers.
Alpha 5.
So, no, it was bad. And then they eventually turned to the politicians. He was doing some crazy,
of course,
like dirty shit. And they was like, he's an actual threat against America. So now the thing is trying to kill him. And he runs, and then the devil dude, he tells him to hop in the car. And then, of course, like at the end of the original Tales from the Hood, it was welcome to hell, motherfucker. That shit was scary. The way that the original Tales from the Hood ended, that was scary. This one was not. He leans all the way over in the car and yells in his face, welcome to hell, motherfucker. And then the worst CGI hell you have ever seen. Listen,
I don't know, man. I've seen Spawn.
Listen, I have done better green screen work.
Popped in my head with Spawn.
Oh, that's Spawn hell.
Spawn looks like Gravity CGI.
No.
Compared to the shit that I saw in Tales from the Hood too.
No.
And then then you guys remember from Tales from the Hood 1, he becomes like the full devil. Like he looks creepy as hell.
Yeah.
It was just Nunu's daddy with horns.
With horns.
And he says, ain't that some shit? And then it fades out.
Like, I kind of want to laugh, but I'm actually more sad.
No, if listen, it's a good laugh. It's a fantastic laugh. But throughout the movie, you're going to watch it like, I hate everything about this. Why did they do this? Who greenlit this?
If Netflix green light and stuff like that, yeah.
Everyone's
I
getting a check. Everyone's fucking getting a check. Might as well hop up in there.
I need one.
Well, we also wanted to touch on a while ago. So here we are, episode 101.
101.
We finally got past our 100th episode. The live show went amazingly.
Yeah.
That was, I gotta say thank you, to all the ear hustlers that came through. But we had somebody drive up from San Diego.
I know,
that was crazy.
That was insane.
Nuts.
Like
I'm so happy for you guys. That was amazing.
When she pulled us aside, I was like, we came all the way from San Diego. We're driving back tonight. I didn't know what to say. I'm like,
I was like, wait, what?
Oh, word?
You for real?
And then like, I ended up checking the messenger and I saw that she actually reached out about RSVPing, like, to come in for the show. And I was like, wow, somebody drove all the way from San Diego just to watch our first live show, our 100th episode. So shout out to you. Shout out to person if you're listening right now. But
did you not get her name?
No, I think by that time I may have been drunk. Because once we got off stage, I'm like, I'm done. Like, I've done my part, man. But definitely big up to Sean Torrey, big up to Oak, big up to Devin Moore, man. It was some great information exchange.
Yeah.
Dave, you got a lot of praise for the question that you asked.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think I got a lot of praise because was I the only white guy there?
Yes.
No.
Well, come on. There had to be another one.
No, I think you were the only white guy there. It was another guy there that was
light skin.
No, at first because I was thinking, no, he looked maybe Hispanic, but when I thought about him, I was like, okay, maybe two white guys. But then now that I'm thinking about it, no, I think he was maybe Hispanic, so you probably were the only white guy.
No, you were definitely the only white guy there. And then when you asked the question, like you heard everyone, kind of like, that's a good question. And Oak even said, no, that's a very good question. So when you watch the video and you hear a really good question about an hour and 20 minutes in, that was Dave.
The funny thing about that, because the question before it, there was a lot of positivity that came out of that, but there was also like a lot of people that I thought weren't ready to listen to what was really being said. Although I have to appreciate them actually really showing up, obviously. But when it comes to that, sometimes it can turn into kind of a weird, ugly situation
debate,
more than anything. So it's like, I was like, we really need something positive. Like right now, we need a fluff question for somebody to knock out the park.
He read
fluff
the room.
question. Here you go.
Just reading the room, and I'm just wondering, what is this? But no, it was an amazing time.
Yeah.
Man, this is what really fucked me up was I was riding a crazy high just off of that whole situation. Like our first live show went off without a hitch, except for the little minor technical difficulties in the beginning, which you guys will never hear or see because I'm a king of editing. Took all of that shit out. But outside of that hiccup, everything just went perfectly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It did.
And to have that high and then come down to an immediate low because I had to be at work at 5 a.m. the next day. I didn't get in the crib until about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I had to get up at 3. So I'm like, damn, I'm right back to just being a worker.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the thing is that there's this poem I know, and I'm not going to tell you the whole poem because it's like 200 lines or whatever, but it basically talks about like moments of greatness that people always have. It's like you ever get like this emotion that you feel where it's like your life is filled with clarity and you feel like you finally hit that moment where you just feel like you've almost ascended or even transcended to another level. That's probably the high they exactly felt.
Absolutely.
Because it's always like a fleeting moment. It's always like, it's like, fuck, I know what I'm talking about here.
Right.
Shit, this is exactly where I want to be at right now. And I always believe that when it comes to life, to make those moments happen more and more often.
Absolutely. And that's definitely what we plan on doing. Cause I felt like just hearing the feedback from it, like somebody actually posted online this long, like, post about the actual show itself. Didn't tag us, didn't tag Beat, but she was talking about the event, and I was just sitting there like, so we got across what we were trying to get across.
That's good.
Right.
And that made me feel really good because again, it was a lot of work that went into that. You guys were right there with me while we were trying to get it done. So
Oh yeah, those first 2 days, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like the first 2 days, bruh, I was tired.
stress, bro.
But I think I was tired because I kind of underplayed it a little bit, like, you know what I mean, doing the interviews and stuff like that. I wasn't prepared physically to be like, this is where now going forward, I'll be like, this guy, I won't be tired like that. But
Right.
before the first 2 days,
Bro, we was on a media run to the day of the event.
I went to bed the earliest, those Thursday and Friday, I went to bed the earliest I've probably ever went to bed in the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, man.
Like I looked up on Thursday, I woke up. I ain't gonna say why I woke up, but I woke up and it was like 10:47. I was like, wait a minute, I was just asleep.
Like whole ass asleep.
Wait, I got about another 3-4 hours before I go to sleep. What you mean? So, and Friday was just, I got in Friday, then we got in like 10:30.
Yeah, something
I was
like
asleep by 12.
I wish I was asleep by 12.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The next day I seen your message saying I just got it. Yeah, I was already asleep. I was out.
I think the most important thing for you guys moving forward is that we honestly cannot wait for episode 200 to happen, for this conversation to happen.
No, absolutely.
Like this is something that's going to happen really, you know, if it's not going to happen at the end of this year, it's got to happen early next year. And it's got to at least be a quarterly thing where people can come out and be a celebration. I could be the only white guy again because I'm really happy about that.
Nah, you might get some more white people.
We may get about 3-4 more there. We'll make sure somebody give you some braids. Come in on your Post Malone.
Give me some cornrows. You know, I can do the Post Malone. I mean,
I'm telling you, fit right.
I can do the Markins.
But no, it was it was a great time, and we just really want to say thank you to everybody that came out, everybody participated, you know, shared it. It was surreal for us at the time. And then being able to have the Beat family stand up there with us. I know you guys weren't expecting me to call y'all up, but all right, I knew out of everything we were going to talk about that day, I was like, they're definitely going to get called up. This is a family thing. We got to make sure everybody's here and they're seen. And it was just great, man. So shout out to everybody. Cognac Conversations 2 will be happening. We actually got some other live things on the horizon. We just got to work out a few more logistics before we make any major announcements with it. But just know, goddamn it, Beat, we out here working. I almost hit my hand on the desk, but I know it would have picked up on the mic and it sounded absolutely trash. So other than that, I mean, we really jump into the conversation. That
All right, let's do it.
Actually, Kev, like I said, I'm following y'all lead because I'm not as caught up with everything.
Okay, well, you didn't see Did you see the shot? Did you see the shot?
I got enough of the interview to basically.
Cause I think it was actually true, because the way it started wasn't how it ended. Like, it started with the regular shop talk, and then it just turned to LeBron and Drake towards like the last 30 minutes or so. I will say, I didn't expect Drake to sound like that speaking wise. Like, I've heard him speak, but to have a full on conversation, I didn't expect that.
Well, he was articulate.
Yeah, he was very articulate.
You know, but I think that's more based upon the lines of better coaching, better coaching.
Media coaching,
because he was definitely coached into that conversation.
Yeah,
more than anything, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem that came through it was that because of how rough, really, of a summer that Drake basically had, like people were really expecting him to really say some shit, and really drop some stuff. But
people
it was
were
like
expecting
LeBron,
the not nice guy Drake, but he was the nice guy Drake that he naturally is.
That's the Canadian side of it.
Yeah. I thought it was informative. I did think it was informative. I thought that even though Drake is on the pedestal he is on when it comes to hip hop, I'm not fully convinced, if at all, that he is deep rooted or understands the roots that come within hip hop.
That's exactly what I was going to speak on, because for the bits that I watched, I could be honest. The most that I watched of it was dealing with the beef with Pusha T and Drake. So to hear him talk about it, and one thing he said that kind of like, as an artist, that kind of like fucked with me is like, he said, I'm probably going to lose a little, respect, from the hip hop side of things. Like, I get it, as that, I'm have a chink in my armor for that. I'm like, that's not necessarily just a chink though. Like, I understand hip hop is so commercialized that, it's a business, and of course, make your money, get your bread, do what you got to do. But to know that you don't want that respect from that side, it's weird to me.
It's weird to me too, especially because Drake, you got respect from the fan side.
You already have that.
You already have that. So to me, if I was an artist, the only other respect I'd be seeking out is from the hip hop community.
Right. Exactly.
So I agree with you. Now, the only thing I feel that he was, that it would be corny if that was the case. When he was talking about he was working with Ye and writing basically for Ye and putting his own stuff on the back burner just to get kind of played in the end. That part I get. If that did happen the way Drake said, yeah, you foul for that. You are. But when it comes to the Pusha shit, like, bruh, like no, there's no rules in this.
Absolutely not.
There's people can have their own personal rules, like rules that will set them off. Like if you can say something to somebody and maybe that's a rule for them to set that off, you cross that line. But when it comes to this, no, there's no rules in it. No. It's not. So for you to think because you're the bigger artist, there should be rules, like, nah, bruh, he came at your head and you let him.
Right.
Simple and plain.
Well, that's how beef culture works though.
Yeah.
Like it's now, you mentioned the money side of it. And the truth is look, I'm not a hip hop guy. I'm not a rap guy. I'm not going to lie and try to make it seem like I am. But one thing that I did notice, because I didn't really know Pusha T before this year, is literally his new album that came out, Daytona, like sales skyrocketed for him the minute that this beef culture stuff started happening again. So there's a part of me that really feels like that people try to push a narrative, especially because the biggest time that people are ever going to listen to music is going to be during the summertime. It's not really it's like sports. You're not really going to watch sports in the summertime. You're going to watch that when you are in front of a TV.
Right.
Which is usually fall season. And because most of these sports happen in snow-filled countries or snow-filled states, like because you're in front of TV, that's when the most popular sports come in. That being said, I know I mentioned this to you before, Los, when it comes to this, but because Drake recognized that, I don't think Drake cares enough about the hip hop community for him to really matter, because he's one of the most successful people to come out of it.
I agree.
So it's like, for him, who does he recognize as part of that hip hop culture? And really, you're just only hitting the big dogs there. That's Kanye, and that's maybe Jay-Z, if he even recognizes that anymore. And maybe he just thinks that there's nothing that can dent him anymore. But this was bad.
It was a crazy dent. And actually, Drake has said that he wants that he's a pop star. So it's almost like he doesn't even have that idea that he is a part of the hip hop community. However, Drake is in a lot of these young cats' top 5.
Right. But even if you got that notion that you're a pop star and you're not necessarily in the hip hop community, if that's the case and you truly believe that, then don't on the flip side try to say there should be rules and you're equating them to hip hop when you're not part of that community.
I agree.
And that's another thing that irked me about that is he really was like, yeah, I understand there's no rules to this shit, but there's rules to this shit. Like, first of all, don't boss up saying be nice to me during our beef. Like,
right.
Those two things, they don't go together.
Right.
That's one. And two, there are no rules. We saw Tupac opened up, hit him up. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat mother. That was the first thing before a beat dropped. You know what I'm saying?
He said, my fofo make all your kids don't grow.
You know what I'm saying?
What? Jay-Z said you shoot my kid. What?
Jay-Z said I left a condom in your baby seat.
Right.
So there hasn't been rules to this shit in forever. So the fact that we're now at this place to where we have to establish rules in a cutthroat game, and it's actually kind of transitioning to the Pusha T Joe Budden conversation. When Pusha T started dropping names of the people that were like, close to him, that actually that they were trying to get this information for $100,000 bounty. You look at shit like that, like if there's no rules, then how are you really going about kind of breaking a rule in a sense? Like you're over here trying to pay off informants and stuff like that to bring you information that's just not in the streets like that.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it was very strategic. It was a lot of tactics that went into that, but it was just so different for me. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Let me give credit to Pusha T here because, I said before the show, he really understands how to spill tea.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and what I mean by that is that, have you really noticed that like nobody's actually really saying any negative to Pusha T, even though the dude's ego is out of his mind right now? Like, what I mean by that is that the way that he presented the story was a guy I don't even fuck with anymore came up to me to let me know
what's going on,
that there's $100,000 bounty out there regarding all this information that's coming out. And then he started releasing everything, and they're like, whoa, what's going on? And then he starts playing the recordings. And it's like, it's this slow, like, little burn. It's like a horror story, really. It's like the slow burn to like really get out. And it's like when you hear all this shit, if you're going to claim yourself to be the number one dude in hip hop or pop or whatever you want to consider yourself to be, you don't decide the rules.
Right.
The culture decides the rules.
Right.
You know, you don't get to turn around and tell me how to live my life. You produce your records and you do whatever you got to do. You can't tell me though that all these rules that are out there, they're just thrown out the door because you're the top dog now.
Yeah, it don't work that way.
That's exactly what I got from Drake.
Yeah.
Because I'm winning on a financial basis, I should be able to establish the rules from the hip hop base. See, we're going to convert Dave eventually. We're going to get him. He may really have the braids at the next event.
I don't agree with that. Me personally, I feel like a person that is kind of removed from being that top dog, or let's say an up and coming artist. Me, if I knew how to rap, which I'm awful at it, if I knew how to rap, I would tear Joe Budden's ass up. Why? Because I listened to that guy from jump. You know what I mean? Like same with me. If I was a big rapper or whatever, and somebody was a fan of me, chances are they probably tear my ass up because they listen to the music. Again, I'm not a rapper. I get washed easily. Yeah? No. For the beat drop, he won. I'm good.
Right. But I got two bars for it.
Right.
And they were ghost written.
Exactly.
Kev's my people here.
but that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like Push, we know in the hip hop community, we know of Push, but he's removed from that light. So he can just sit back and study how Drake move or be a fan of certain songs or whatever the case is. Like your music as an artist, you're kind of bearing your soul a little bit. So you can't get mad when somebody uses that against you and then say there's rules. That reminds me of like in middle school. I remember there was a fight in middle school and one of the guys like we used to run with, he got into a fight with this gay dude. And he punched the gay dude, and the gay dude said, no hitsies in the face. That's what that reminds me of. That's what this beef reminds me of on Drake's side.
What age was this? He said no hitsies in the face.
This was like 8th grade.
Oh, okay.
This was like 7th, 8th grade.
That was way too.
It might have been 7th.
That was way too far in the transition into high school. It's too close.
I'm trying to picture like. Did he have his hands up like afterwards?
No, it was like they about to
no
fight.
hitsies
Shit was
in the
going
face.
on. Like you didn't know because I mean, dude is gay, but he probably can knock some shit out.
Sure. I'm about to say, don't get me wrong. I've seen
he
a bunch of gay dudes knock
you know
out
what I
straight.
mean?
But it's just the word hitsy.
Those dudes are
Right.
fit, but you can't say hitsy.
And honestly, he was kind of fit. That's where it registered to me. Like, wait a minute, no, he's not built for this like that. Because they were fighting. You know what I mean? They were getting into it or whatever case. And I know my man's like he's good at. I know he got hands. So when he hit dude, I'm like, okay, he didn't knock dude down and dude stood back, put his hands down. No hits, he's in the face.
Wait.
I was like,
wait.
that's when I knew. He got hit and stepped back. Was like, no hits, he's in the face. Put his hands up.
You know what's funny?
At that point, the fight stopped.
It's funny because I'm sitting there saying that that's in that transition going into high school, but that actually reminds me of a fight that happened when I was in 8th grade. And it was this kid, I forgot what the hell his name was, but it was this black dude and a white dude. And the black dude was one of those Carlton Banks type, but like worse. Like I'm pretty sure he voted for Trump at this point. But
did he have suspenders on?
No, but he was always in khakis. Always in khakis. Like I ain't seen him in, and one time he may have worn jeans. There was skinny jeans before skinny jeans was skinny jeans. So he was that guy. So he was about to get into a fight with the white boy, and the white boy was finna rock. He was a white boy from the north, so he's damn near black. He was with the shit. So they're getting ready to rock, and before Carlton puts his hands up, he goes, "No kicking," and then puts his hands up. So he's getting his ass whooped. Let me touch on that. He's getting fucked up. But this is 8th grade. I'm like, I ain't never seen such hands get put on somebody in 8th grade. So he eventually, what happened? Oh yeah, so he gets like 2 or 3 good tags in. And then you see him go for a weapon.
Carlton.
Yes, Carlton goes for a weapon because this is where this is at in Vegas is like this little like alleyway before he actually got to the apartment complex, and it was always like random ass planks of wood and shit like that. Out
What
there.
does white boy look like?
He was I would say
Because I need imagery here.
he kind of looks like well, God, what's my man's name from UFC?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. Chuck
I know.
Liddell.
No. He's not even fit. It's the fat dude from UFC.
Oh, okay. Roy Nelson.
Roy Nelson. He looks just like a young Roy Nelson.
So we got a redneck.
Basically,
From Louisiana.
a redneck hood white boy. Somehow we cross paths, and he, you know, him and Carlton they're chunking him, and Carlton goes for one of the little wooden planks that was there, and he sees that and he kicks him in the nuts. Before Carlton hits the ground, he goes, "I said no kicking."
Oh, what? So planks is good, Carlton?
Exactly. So, I'm like, but fast forward to what we're talking about. I guess because of his status at the time, he probably felt like I established the rules. Oh, another funny thing too, and Jay Alonso can talk about it too. He actually Carlton ended up biting him.
No.
He bit because Roy Nelson got him
Carlton
in the
wasn't
headlock,
trying to
and
lose.
Carlton bit him right in his ribs.
Carlton was not trying to lose.
No, that wasn't the best part of it, because once he bit him, white boys, he fucking bit me. Carlton said,
That's funny.
So, if camera phones was as lit as they are right now back in 8th grade,
Oh my goodness.
you know, with us, we was just a Nokia box.
Yeah, we ain't had that. We ain't had that.
So, but just kind of going back to the regular story, trying to tie it back in. So when Drake was speaking about there being rules, and it to me, it just showed me how removed he is from hip hop culture and how much of a problem he doesn't have with being removed from hip hop culture.
Right.
And again, you don't have to come in and be like, all right, EPMD, they got this many records. LL Cool J did this many grand. Like, you don't have to be like that. But when this is something that you're monetizing, and it's the reason that you're as big as you are, because before Drake was a pop star, he was a hip hop star. Mm-hmm. We put him on that pedestal.
Of course.
Once he got there, he's like, okay, cool. I got y'all money. Now let me get this mainstream money. Let me get this pop money.
Right.
And obviously, as we all know, the pop money is going to always be better than the hip hop money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
However, if that's the case, then you kind of just need to ride that lane. If people are going to take shots at you, let them take shots, because now you're responding from ego. You're not even responding for respect. You're responding because your ego was tapped. Yep. That's why he was able to destroy Meek the way that he did. And when he thought he was going to do the same thing to Push, it was like, nah, I know way too much about you.
I think that's exactly what it was. Like, he was a fan of Meek. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Me and he close to Nicki. He's a fan of that whole thing. So naturally, you get a chance to be around and kind of see what this person is. He get to sit back and watch. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when he felt otherwise, he was, oh, I got you.
Right.
But Push, it ain't work.
Now, I want to also be fair, because I do have to kind of throw a little shade at Push here a little bit.
Okay.
Because this is a money move more than anything else. Like, I understand, like, you know, he released for the hip hop culture and whatnot. But back in July, Push was supposed to have a summer concert that was going to come out, in which he decided to cancel for some differences or whatever. It was some generic bullshit excuse, right? So now his new concert, his new like tour starts November 7th, literally. So he wants a conversation to start putting him back into there so he can get that concert money, which is fine. I have no problem you decide to make the money that you are, but you can't. But that's another side of that. That's like, okay, are you only responding and releasing this information to keep your name in the news, or are you actually doing this for the culture itself? So that's why I think it's more of a money move more than anything else.
I do think when Push went at him, and only reason I say this is because I think about the attention that Push normally gets when he drops a project. I think one of the reasons why he felt like this was the perfect time to do it, one, because he did have Daytona coming. Right. And two, I think he finally got everything that he needed, because Push has had an issue with Cash Money for years, you know, and he's always been going at, cause I think he mentioned on Joe Budden podcast, he had a problem with what Baby said about good music. Him and Wayne has already been beefing for quite some time. Right. And to see that Drake was constantly taking shots at Kanye, I think Pusha was being strategic. Like you said, after the diss, his sales went through the roof. So I think he was using strategy there. Like, I want to respond, but I want to make sure I respond at the right time. Cause if you just drop you look, the same shit just happened with MGK. MGK decided to drop his disc before his album came out. You didn't know Push had something to say to Drake until Daytona came out.
Of course.
And that conversation is what took it. MGK dropped his disc, then dropped his album, and then his album flopped.
Right.
You know, there was no more surprise factor. They're like, oh, we already got the record from you.
Right. Exactly.
So it was definitely a strategic money move on his part. But kind of going into the information that he was sharing, it's crazy that it took his boy Pillow Talking to get the information about his kid.
Yeah, right. That's so didn't Push already split up a team before?
So they do what?
Okay, so the damage that could happen between this 40 and Drake is that they could actually split. They've been long-term friends,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Didn't Push already do that to somebody before?
Not to my knowledge.
I'm gonna have to look this up. But I thought he did this like some years back, and I can look it up. But the amount of damage that can actually happen from this, the whole pillow talking and whatnot, which one thing real quick, fellas, can we like break the tradition where we say that men don't gossip? Or that men don't talk, or men don't.
They just don't do it publicly.
Right. There's a surplus of men.
They do just don't do it publicly. That's the only difference.
Because we totally gossip, like absolutely.
This is gossip that we're talking about right now.
No, I know. But this is on a podcast, and it's fine because we're bumping our show. We're bumping your show. Excuse me.
Sorry, it's a family thing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you know, guys, we gossip. So accept it, don't accept it, doesn't matter. Men gossip. Women, if you're first hearing it, this is the first time you heard it, this is me admitting men absolutely gossip. We just don't do it publicly.
I would say the fucked up side of that is, and it's almost to the point where I don't necessarily consider it gossiping, at least what I consider acceptable, is we as men, we kind of just like shoot the shit and relay information, but not in the sense of, oh, you know, this is something that you can use against somebody else. However, there are a bunch of men that when they get in these positions with these women and end up having a whole kind of heart and whole kind of love for them, like, I'm going to tell you everything that's on my mind because I have that trust for you before even establishing that y'all have that trust with each other. Right. Because according to that interview, this was just somebody that 40 was taking down, and she was just there to get over. And you know, okay, well, you know, I'm not really transitioning with you, so your information is whoever's information if they want it, because now I got it now.
Right. Well, I want to address two things. One, the conversation and the gossiping. With the gossiping, it's like, dudes, yes, you're going to gossip, and chances are, if you've been with your girl, she'd probably be the first person to notice you're gossiping. Right. But to your point, unlike women, they'll gossip, whatever the case is. Let's say we all in the nail salon, we gossiping, right? I may tell you something about somebody else that maybe comes to the shop. You may now feel some kind of way to this other person because of the gossip. With men, I can tell you something about something else, and you can see that person and don't feel, you know what I mean? You just know that's the difference. But to your point, to both of you guys' point, the reason I kind of feel where you're saying it's a money thing, man, kind of don't, is because people fail to realize right now, yes, Push is a rapper, but that's not where he's getting his money from. Push is the president of a record label. Right. Push is making other means to feed his family. So rap is on the back burner. So that's why I can't necessarily say that. Although, yes, we can say it's funny you canceled your appointment or your concert and then now you're doing it. The only thing I can say is the asterisk with it is because we fail to realize like Push is the victim in this case.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Drake came out with bars. Yes, 90% of them at Kanye. But just because I'm talking shit about you, Dave, doesn't mean I can say shit about Los, and Los might not be like, okay, you was talking shit about Dave, but what you say about me? You know what I'm
saying? The Cash Money, Young Money camp have been throwing shots
that's been around for years.
Before the Clips even broke up, they've been having issues. And then once Pusha T went solo, that's when he decided to really start chunking them at Wayne. And then it was just him and Wayne for a cool minute. And then that started to die off. And then Baby started jumping into it and making comments about good music as a whole, as a staff record label and as a crew. So it's like, you've constantly been poking at this man. So then once he responds, all of a sudden, you're going too far. But what's crazy?
But they say that because it's Drake. And Drake is the breadwinner right now.
And that's exactly what I was going to say.
But Push is smart in that case. Okay, I got issues with all y'all. I'm gonna take the head off the snake. I'm gonna do that.
The head off the snake. But it's like, I look at that kind of shit and people say Drake went too far. Pusha went too far. Pusha went too far. I shouldn't have mentioned this, that, and the third. Let's eliminate the fact that Drake even mentioned Pusha T's girl. But that's the one spoken thing in hip hop is you don't go to the families unless you're willing to go there fully.
Right.
So once you establish that's what it is, I'm not saying you should be doing it. That's not saying you shouldn't be doing it. But until somebody breaks that seal and goes beyond just the artist or his crew and go into the family, okay, so that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. That's where we're at. Cool. That's been established. Circling back, when it went to this personal place and now all of a sudden there's a bounty, no one had a problem with Drake setting out a bounty to get personal information about Push, and I don't think it would have been a career-ending record, but I do think Drake was going to put out something.
I don't think he made the record.
I feel like another reason I feel like he did is because Push said that the person that was getting the information was somebody that was close to him. So the fact that Drake had manipulated somebody that was in Push's camp to get intel on Push, I'm like, you probably had some shit.
Even if he did have a record, I don't think it wasn't as devastating.
No, I don't think it was career.
If he did have one, but I don't think he had one because we're in an age right now where, yeah, your big homie says don't get into this. Your big homie told you not to get into this, but your mans who was in the studio that may got access to the track might leak the shit just to get clout or just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just too many extenuating circumstances for me to believe that he had that track. And then on top of that, at the end of the day, yeah, Jay Prince could have said, don't get involved with this beef. A dude just punched you, punched your mans, punched all of them, and you go listen to another nigga tell you don't, you know what I mean? Like, nah, for me, and to be immersed in the hip hop culture, I couldn't do it.
Absolutely, I couldn't either.
And for him to say that, this is a contradiction I have, because he'll say that he doesn't care about what the hip hop community thinks, but then jump in and say he's hip hop. Which one is it, bruh? Like, right. It's either you're hip hop or you're not.
No, he picks and chooses when he wants to be a part of hip hop and when he just wants to be a pop dude. When it came down to this beef, he wanted to be a pop dude. I'm pop, yeah. But when it came down to Meek, I was all hip hop.
He was hip hop.
I'm going back to back. I'm giving you a record today. I'm giving you a record tomorrow. And
right.
I'm giving you a record
which was genius for the time. But
brilliant.
You can't get mad when somebody else does the same shit to you.
And he even said, he was all like, how he said, I didn't like the record, but great chess move. I'm talking about Drake now.
Right.
And I'm sitting there like, dog, like you can't. You're trying to undermine what he did. Mm-hmm. And let's just be honest. He really hit you. You lost. You have to take that L. But because we're in a place where it's no longer about your material, it's about your financials. It's about who are you as an artist, not who are you as a lyricist, but as an overall artist, as a business, as a brand. And that's something that's never been hip hop. And I think that's probably why I take so much offense to how he's going about it, because it's just corny to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's corny.
I agree. The only thing I think you kind of probably made a false parallel was an MGK Eminem thing, and that's because that's different. Even though I agree with you, like he did put out that diss and the flop came, but at the end of the day, that's Eminem. That's a different. A different animal. Like
when I brought that up, I'm only saying that because when you look at everything that came out and how everything went, if MGK had saved that diss for the album, that'd have changed his sales.
Yes, to a certain degree, but I don't think like the way we think. I think his still would have flopped.
No, it still would have flopped, but I think those same streaming numbers that he got for Rap Devil would have been contributed to his album, because then they have to go to the album to get it. Because that's the only reason that Push's album spiked, because everybody wanted to hear which was the last song that everybody wanted to hear this record.
True.
Because MGK shot his load off early, it was kind of like, all right, so this is what you're delivering. You already said you're not going to say anything more on the album. Not necessarily interested in the album.
I understand that.
MGK is just not a smart guy. Let's just be honest there.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm giving Push a lot of credit here because he is smart. Like he knows exactly how to play this out a little bit. And again, yes, I do think there's definitely a money move to be made here, but I gotta give the guy credit here.
Absolutely.
Like he knows what he was doing the entire time.
I wanna ask this. Do we think that the people who maybe have had it tougher coming up may be a little bit more strategic in dealings like this? Now, I look at these two cases. Okay, Drake, we can say what we want about his music, but at the end of the day, he had some form of money. He was an actor. He was on some form of money. So we can't really say that he wasn't as impoverished as I was. Right. So I'm equating it with Push. We didn't really Push was positive, moving dope, whatever the case was, until he got on with rapping. So I'm saying that to say, do we think that people that may be impoverished and then get on are a little bit more equipped for this type of thing than somebody who kind of had money and then get put on? And the reason being is because I believe that all of us in this room, if we were to get on some kind of way, we probably can move a lot better than somebody that's always had it. I'm pretty sure we've all thought about what we would do if, you know what I mean, we came into some money or things, because when we know how we would deal as things would come. But we wouldn't know that if we were not impoverished before. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, it's like it's a lotto annogy.
Okay.
You know, lotto right now is $1 billion out of California.
Yeah,
I hope my ticket hits.
Just putting that in the atmosphere. Speaking to
you know, God, if you listen to podcasts right now, just saying, you know, you could do me a solid here. Anyways, but it's a lotto analogy. You know, a lot of times people win the lottery, right? And then what winds up happening is they think, oh, I have all this money. No. You have a bag of money that you earned from luck. Now it's your idea to know how to maintain that.
Right.
Now, you were stating is somebody that comes up from an impoverished way, finds a way to kind of keep that bag rolling. Absolutely. But it kind of has to go both ways.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. They can go both ways. I was just talking about in the meddlings of this Drake and Pusha thing. Like let's say if Drake sold dope, whatever the case was, and then is in the position he is in now, I think he might fare better against Push in this battle than had he would not had the background he had, is what I mean.
To be fair, how smart is Drake? He's
the biggest artist in the world, so he's definitely smart.
Well, is that because of him or is that because of his producer?
I have to say it's because of him because
that's fair.
Because I don't think that Drake has always had the same producer, has he? I don't know.
It's been 40 since day one.
But okay, even if it was 40 since day one, we can still say that Drake has had bad songs.
Absolutely.
So being that we can say that he's had bad songs, we can't contribute everything to the producer. If 40 put out just an instrumental with beats right now, it might get some spins, but it won't get spins like Drake's album.
No, of course not. What I'm saying is this, is that in terms of the hip hop game, or now pop game for him, he's incredibly smart. But when it comes to having to rise up to get to that challenge, is he smart enough to really pull himself out of that hole? And
that part
we haven't seen evidence of that yet.
And I'm saying that we haven't seen that evidence because of his background, he came from.
Right, of course.
You get what I'm saying? If you grew up where when you go outside, you might get punched in the face. Next time you go outside, you're going to know how to handle that punch in the face.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm going to say, no handsies to the face.
One thing that's funny about hip hop right now, though, and no kicks. Exactly. No kicks. One thing that
planks is okay though.
Exactly. Come on. It's all about how you go. It's chess, not checkers. But, one thing about how hip hop is right now is it's kind of built for someone like Drake to flourish. The reason I say that
financially.
Yeah, financially and in popularity.
A little, yeah. I'm going to say popularity.
We got to say popularity and finance is kind of coming hand in hand.
No, not really.
Name a popular dude right now that got a bag from music.
You said that has
name somebody that's popular on Drake's level.
No one's on Drake's level.
But I'm saying the popularity came with the bag. I'm saying they kind of go hand in hand. You can't be popular in that climate without the bag.
Except he had the bag first before he got popular.
Did he really have the bag?
He had acting money.
Yeah, he had acting money.
He had acting money, but different from what we would have. We also have to realize he grew up in Canada. We don't know what that bag is like acting wise in Canada. If the bag was so great, they wouldn't be trying to rush over here.
Well, everybody tries to rush over here
because of that bag. You think somebody in Canada?
I'm not saying that. I
don't think you're wrong.
I'm not saying he didn't have money. I'm saying his popularity got him the bag that he has now. Is what I'm saying.
Now that
part, that's the only thing I'm saying.
Okay, so now I see what you were talking about. Okay, I get you now. But what I was saying, as far as how the game is shaped now, we came up with all the rappers were drug dealers, former gang members, or Black Panthers. That was always the three.
Right.
And now the rappers that are in the game are kids that were used to be bullied.
Yeah.
Kids that are currently on drugs, not necessarily having the worst life. A lot of the cats that are getting discovered now were discovered off of, I made my first record about a year ago. And now here I am with the #1 record. Like, they're not necessarily coming from an impoverished background. So when you look at people like Drake, who is in a lot of these younger artists and a lot of these younger listeners' top 5. Drake not coming from that place was kind of just motivation. So in this landscape, he is what the ideal rap artist is supposed to be.
I'm not disputing that at all. I'm strictly talking on the beefs. If you go out, you've been to a fist fight before. I'm pretty sure you both have, right?
Unfortunately.
If you go out and you fight somebody that don't know how to fight, regardless on who that person is, you don't probably know the story. We said it on the show. You fought MGK before.
Tussled
MGK before. Okay. MGK got the bag right now, right? He got more than you at this moment, right? That doesn't change the fact that just because he got more than you and he may be popular, doesn't change the fact that he still can't get beat. But had he came from a background where he probably went through a lot of the same shit you went through, maybe he can handle that tussle a little bit better. That's all I'm saying.
No, right. I agree.
Drake, if Drake had, you know what I mean, maybe he took a couple more L's growing up, maybe he could deal with the Pusha thing a little bit better.
Look, man, it's just a matter of time before Los gets that bag himself.
I'm not saying that. I'm with him. I'm right with him. I wanted to.
But we just had cognac conversation.
Yeah, I'm right
and
with
we just hit NYCC. So
somebody just hit me up, was like, when y'all start making money, don't forget about it.
But what did you do to help this shit happen?
But regardless, what money do you speak of?
I already said straight up. I was like, listen, when this shit finally take off, when we got the corporations backing us, stuff like that, the first motherfucker that said I always knew he was gonna make it, like, hey, do me a solid screenshot. At least one time you shared this show. Just once. Or just one like that you have on one of the podcasts. Just one. That's all I need. But what's funny, to go back to your analogy and to kind of have it touch on what I was just talking about, the fucked up thing about that if that tussle would have turned into like a legit problem, and obviously I would have whooped his ass. I'm sorry. He doesn't look like a nigga that got hands. It wouldn't have been, damn, Big Los whooped MGK's ass. It would have been, yeah, but who's Big Los?
Right.
And that is what would have made me the quote loser in that situation. Right. And in this situation with Push and Drake, like, 'cause I've seen people talking about it when they see, you know, Drake establishing what's too far, when they said, you know, I held it back 'cause this isn't something I want to be, remembered for. And, you know, I may lose it. You know, I may get a chink in my armor when it comes down to the hip hop community.
Why would you be remembered just solely for that though?
And that's what I'm saying. But that's his thing. He was like, because of who his listener is, because of who his audience is, they're going to be like, Drake, you don't need to do this. Who is Pusha T? You're Drake. And yeah, he's just the guy from the clips. Like, that's all the conversation would have been.
Right. And that's why the W is coming to Pusha T.
No matter.
Do you think Drake is bigger than Pac, or is bigger than Pac was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do.
Absolutely. Okay. And then the game is just something so different now that if Pac was to debut today, he honestly wouldn't be anything.
Oh yeah, if he was a debut today, it wouldn't work.
If he was a debut today, it wouldn't have worked. But he came right. But like I said on the show before, if his longevity would have continued, it would be a different game today.
He'd be a mumble rapper.
Let's put this in there then. If Pac legacy continued, like he never died or nothing like that, kept going strong, and Drake still came about, would Drake still be bigger than what Pac is now? Or what Pac would be? That's
a good question, because the game changed a lot when Pac and Big died.
But and we got to take it. It did change a lot, but we got to take into account that they would transition itself. Like Pac and Big, they would have transitioned. So I'm saying that to say, like, when he did go at Mobb Deep, yeah, you knew who Mobb Deep was, but didn't change the fact that was just Mobb Deep.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he still do that.
But you know what? That's the exact point that we've been making. He came at Mobb Deep when it was just, who is Mobb Deep?
Well, I'm saying that to say, like, but you didn't remember Pac just solely on that diss.
Right.
So why would Drake think you would just remember him for that? That's all I'm getting
It was an excuse to help his fans not feel as bad for him copping out on the diss.
I agree there.
I agree with that.
Because it's when you have that kind of fan base that to them it's all about the numbers that you do or your popularity, stuff like that. All you got to do is give them one reason. Like, we had this conversation dealing with somebody before. Everybody can tell you, yo, you need to stop freebasing. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
You need to stop. You need to stop doing.
To the extreme.
You know what I'm saying? You need to stop doing crack. A doctor could tell you need to stop doing crack. That one motherfucker could be like, hey, bro, if you just, use it in,
right. Just microdose the crack, you should be okay.
Just kind of cut it in half when you use it.
Microdosing crack is wow.
Well, Fred said if I just cut down my dosage, I'm good. So I'm listening to Fred. Fuck what everybody else is talking about.
Oh, that's funny.
And that's all that those pop rap fans really go for. As long as it's addressed, it's going to make them feel better. Because the same thing happened with Nicki. Everybody thought, Remy destroyed Nicki. All it took was Nicki to make one diss record back. Oh, Nicki killed her. Like, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. The situation with Cardi. Everybody loved Cardi until she showed, that
she was Cardi.
Right, that she's really Cardi from the Bronx. And now all of a sudden Cardi's this ghetto bitch and all this other shit. But because what? Because the person
you helped her get on because she was
the person that did all this talking, the same talking that Cardi does now, isn't about her words, but the chick that's about her words backs it up. And now you got this other one talking about I was mortified and I would never speak of somebody's children. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Nicki. Like, no. That's not a fucking pass.
You try to play victim.
Right, you playing victim.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I got out of the Drake interview. Like, it sounded like he was trying to play victim. And I don't care what nobody say. Like him saying he texts Bron and Bron like, that shit was corny.
Oh yeah.
What I say? Like, dude, you're not my dad. That shit is corny.
We the same age.
Right. That shit is corny. And Bron, we know you got it back, but Drake might have more than you. Like,
I don't know about that.
Well, now going forward, probably not. But now at this very moment, Drake might have more than Bron.
I don't know because Bron got his hand in a lot.
He do got his hand in a lot.
And really, when you think about it,
but you got to realize
all
Drake got his hands in a lot.
But that's one thing I was actually about to bring up. Like, what does he have his hand in? Like,
well, we would have to go look that up.
Because to my knowledge, all of his money is rap money.
It may be, but I'm pretty sure Degrassi probably still playing in Canada.
No, I'm pretty sure he's still.
I'm pretty sure he getting
I
back
think it's still come on noggin.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still getting it back for that. And then on top of that song the little verse he did on the Spanish track, it's fucking genius. That shit is about to skyrocket, and he's about to get that Spanish bag. So,
question real quick: is that 100K still like legit? Because if he's just looking for personal information on PushaT. According to his Wikipedia, this is Terrence LeVar Thornton for May 13th, 1977. He's from the Bronx.
Just in case
if that's all you need,
but see,
if that's all you need, I'm
see,
David Danger Neff. You can hit me up, Drake.
But see, you already messed up there. He's not from the Bronx. He
Virginia.
lived in the Bronx, but he lives from Virginia.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's from there, and he was born in Virginia Beach, Virginia. According to his occupation, he's a rapper and a radio executive.
Listen, according to his occupation.
I say he had a whole bunch of jobs before that.
Y'all listen to any new music lately?
Not well. Yeah, hold on. Let me see.
Because I know it was a few albums that dropped. Well, technically today, but last night.
Who dropped last night?
It was a lot of people. Some of them I don't think you're privy or listen to a lot of them.
I got T.I.'s album. I know that came out a little while ago.
His album wasn't bad.
His album was solid. Other than that, I really haven't been.
Dave, you listen to anybody?
I mean, not
recently.
hip-hop.
Well, this is just a reason. I'm just talking about me.
All right, so let's promote white music real quick.
Let's bridge the gap.
I'm a big, I don't know, like I listen to a lot of stuff, but one of my all-time favorite bands is like Coheed and Cambria, which is kind of like this progressive emo rock that kind of does. They dropped a new album that I really like, but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I
was just curious. I
go to a lot of concerts is what I do.
Really? Mm-hmm. A lot of rock concerts?
Yeah.
See that.
So like next month is like a perfect circle. And then I totally forgot that I had tickets for like Thom Yorke, who's the
minute I find like you say somebody that I've heard before, I'm there with you.
I'm jumping right in there with you.
You don't know a perfect circle?
I have never heard of that before.
What's funny though is that, and I see it all the time in the group chats, you and Dwayne would be like best friends when he.
Absolutely. He kills me.
He listens to just as much rock as he does hip hop. I just know we need Dwayne to get to Vegas at some point in time. But
he kills me. He would absolutely be my best friend, but his Longhorns suck. I'm sorry.
I know Dwayne listening too. He gonna be in the
shots fired.
That's one thing.
All right, let me be fair. My Bulldogs lost this week. Okay, so you got this round, Dwayne. Okay.
But one thing I do want to touch on before we wrap this up is, you hear Dave mention, like, he said it from jump, I'm not a hip hop guy. And yet he was able to not only keep up with the conversation, but also see the kind of shit that we're talking about when it comes down to how hip hop is right now.
Right.
The fact that status is gonna win over bars was just an asinine thought. Because at the end of the day, this whole thing started with bars. If you don't know how to rap, this ain't your industry. This ain't what you're supposed to do. So the fact that somebody that doesn't follow it like that can also see that, the writing's on the wall. So it gets to the point where if he can respect it, why doesn't the artist respect it? Why doesn't, the person that is actually involved in it respect it?
I think as the person
That's
grows,
a damn good question.
that they forget why they're doing it. Like it becomes,
Wow, yeah.
like, what I mean? They may enjoy it, but it becomes a job to them instead of why they got into it. You know what I mean? That's why I think the artists don't respect it. I think it's important for white people like Dave to kind of pay attention, even if they don't listen to pay attention, because hip hop culture is America right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it really is.
even if it's just to be knowledgeable about what's going on, the dynamic of the guy down the street going on, you may tune into hip hop because that's what's pushing the culture right now.
Right.
So I think it's important. I think it's dope. I think it's important for non-blacks to listen to it, or non-people of color. I won't say that. Non-people of color to listen to hip hop music, even if
That's just white people.
no, because some Hispanic people, I live next to them. They're
Considered people of color.
I say non-people of color.
Man, I thought you were going to say something else. I was like, they're not considered people. I was like, what? What'd you say?
No. Well,
Just in case you need to know
I-
who I voted for.
I meant to say non-black people. That's what I meant to
you.
say, non-black people, because not everybody listens to hip hop. But I think it's important because, again, to know how your climate of your everyday life is going to be is kind of deep rooted in hip hop.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's kind of dope. That's just me, though.
I didn't know, Dave. I thought you were going to say something earlier. My fault.
No, you're good.
No.
I don't know. I think overall the problem more, and unfortunately, like, I know the show's already running long, but the problem with white culture nowadays, and I know this is something you guys don't talk about. In a way, I kind of appreciate that. The problem with white culture now is that it refuses to find solid ways to adapt. And what I mean by that is this, is that there's a lot of smart white people out there, and they don't get some of the attention that they deserve because it's not that it's not popular right now to hate on white culture, but what it is that people believe that whites don't have culture because they refuse to kind of adapt it and to kind of mold it into their own thing. See, the fucked up part about it is that when it comes to me and white culture, like I'm white. I'm also Spanish, and I'm not talking Mexican. I'm talking like from Spain. So it's like when y'all talk colonization, I'm like, listen, not only do I know that, I have the blueprints on how that shit works. But one of the things that comes down with that is D.L. Hughley said it best. White people have this image of people of color that is just horrible and awful to like really, really think about and really consider. One of the things like this week we're Corner Store Caroline, in this case, like what happened was this woman was leaning over a counter and this family was just trying to leave a 9-year-old kid's backpack brushes against her ass, which happens, sorry. And she just like blew it up because she felt like she had to be this version of herself that was just awful, like absolutely awful. And the thing is that I don't relate to those people, but what I can say is the reason why that's such a bad thing is that white people will find so many different other ways of making up an excuse more than anything, or to attribute it to a fear instead of recognizing that there may actually be a problem. Right. Good example, real quick. Yeah. Good example is in the state of Georgia. All right. I got family out in Georgia. They're all white. Stacey Abrams, who's a Democratic candidate over there, there's 50,000 people that can't register to vote for something that's called the exact name law. Basically, the way it works is like this. If Beyonce wanted to register to vote in the state of Georgia, she would have to write Beyonce Knowles - Carter. If she doesn't have that hyphen in there,
then it's not
legal. Mm-hmm. Now, that affects 70% of that 50,000 people in there, and that's just black. Like, I don't even know what percentage of that is color. And the reason why, I literally asked somebody this, why is this happening? And they said, oh, well, these, they said, oh, well, these people could be using the names of dead people instead to try to cast a vote. And it's like, really? Like that's what you attribute
We're
this
going
to?
that far to just to make a vote?
Exactly. And that's my issue with it.
Not only that, we can only vote one time. So even if we were going to use a dead person,
Right.
we can't cast our own name.
Right.
So
Exactly. You are absolutely right. And that's the problem with what white culture is. And the thing is that what white people need to recognize more than anything, it's good to be smart and it's good to be informed about certain things, but you need to understand that the world is changing,
right,
and you got to catch up with the times.
Right.
You're absolutely right. Hip hop culture is America right now. So why aren't we doing a better job outreaching to that? Why is it that they're all gung ho about Post Malone, but they're not willing to celebrate, they're not willing to celebrate Pusha T or Drake or anybody that's really into that own little hip hop culture just to stay informed in itself.
I agree with that.
Now I was about to say, shit, you can't really go against what a white guy says.
No, I don't mind. I open that up for debate. I open that up for discussion.
I agree with that. I think the lady was foul. I did like the fact that when the kid did his whole press conference or whatever thing was, he was like, he don't forgive the lady. I thought that was dope as
Yeah, I'm about to say, because for what?
You know what? You know what's a problem with being forgiving is that you're not learning the fucking lesson.
Right.
You're not learning a lesson.
Yeah.
Why? Because we'll wind up happening. And look, I get passionate when it comes to like, when I see white cop against black, and see all the things you've known me to get like super passionate.
We've had conversations, right?
Where I've gotten super passionate about that. And it's like, it goes right back down that's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
That's embedded. That's under my skin, according to these white people. And that needs to change. That needs to at least break to say, why did Martin Luther King say, I have a dream? Instead of saying, oh, Martin Luther King had a great speech saying, I have a dream.
How do we fix that?
Well, it starts with education, to be honest. People have to understand how to be educated on something, and you have to break it down to the most simplest question. All right. And we can't attribute one simple conversation to it being one thing. Now, a white person's going to take that same argument I just made and say, oh, okay, well, we can apply that to white against black crime. Okay. My first question would be, was the action that happened required the other person to die?
Oh, that's always going to be the question. And it's like really in that kind of situation is really to also go back to address what you mentioned about how they would react to the boy. Outside of trying to throw religion into it, ultimately it's gonna come down to the exact same conversation of, oh, he was raised, poorly by, like, there's automatically a stigma that's attached to black people from people outside of the culture.
What was the first thing that happened against Botham Jean? The first thing they looked for was marijuana.
Right.
Oh, well, this drug user say, no, fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you.
And it's
seriously,
it's
because
funny.
that's not what happened here.
Right.
Dude sitting in his home.
It's funny because there was something that just happened. I'm trying to remember it to the best of my ability. Okay, boom. The video of the black kid knocking on the door who got lost going to his high school.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And dude came out with the shotgun and shot at him as he was fleeing. And I remember looking at the comments under that video. He was casing the place. That's what they do.
Yeah, I've seen some of them too. Yeah, he was like, "That's breaking in and going wrong."
Exactly.
Buddy.
And there were so many people in agreement that that's what it was. However, no one can fathom that this cop was at the wrong apartment.
Right.
and then they went into further explanation about the kid. Like, he doesn't know how to get to the school. He takes the school bus. He missed his bus and got lost. Like, is it like? And then with those breaking and entering situations, it ain't gonna be just one kid.
No,
come the fuck on now. Like, it's not gonna be just one kid. So it's so crazy how the conversation switched once the color switched.
So
and someone ended up dead on the other color side.
Right. And shit, to keep it 100, like, I don't know if it wasn't for me walking to school majority of the time, I would not know what the school is. Like, what am I?
If I was predominantly on the bus,
to this day, I don't know how to get to the elementary school.
If I was predominantly on the bus, I wouldn't know how the hell.
You're right. So why is that to me? I'm like, why is that like unfathomable? Like, why you can't, think that this may be telling the truth with this? Like, really?
But
in broad daylight, he trying to get in your shit? All right.
It goes back to education.
What a backpack.
All over again. think for yourselves, people, and that's fine if that's what you honestly believe. But you can't just believe that for the amount of deaths that happen in terms of white on black and with police officers. You can't tell me that every single one of those people deserve to die.
Right. Or
There you go.
Or some kind of criminal, right?
Exactly.
Or they were a criminal for some sort. Oh, well, he's a black guy. Of course he's going to. No, fuck you, man. Seriously. Because if the tables were flipped on that, you would be crying foul all over the place.
If I'm gonna keep it real, if black cops were killing white people the way they do us, this world, the country would be burned to the ground.
Yeah, it wouldn't have got past year one.
Right.
Absolutely. Did
y'all see what China trying to do?
What's that?
I read today. At first, I didn't believe it until I got some credible sources. China by 2020 plans to put an artificial moon. I can't pronounce the city. It starts with a C. Put an artificial moon over this city to replace like street lamps and stuff, and it's supposed to be 8 times brighter than the moon.
But why though?
Why?
Because they want to save money and replace like when you're at night, like replace street lamps. So basically, at nighttime, this moon is supposed to illuminate the light, or the country or city, so people can see.
How big is this moon?
I don't know. To me, it doesn't matter because the way I look at it, if you're going to put it in orbit, that means it has to be pretty big. Number one, I'm looking at how the hell are we going to get this up there? That's number one. 2,
I'm going to be real pissed if a random ass bright moon come around my window at 1 in the morning.
Right, it's 1 in the morning, I'm chilling, and I got the moon, but then I see this big ass bright motherfucker. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? Then on top of that, the way that, being that I'm a
They said 2020?
By 2020. That's in a year. So
they moving.
Right. And I'm going to put it past them because actually China is... People don't realize China is way ahead of us in technology.
No, but there's
way ahead of us.
But there's another issue that comes with that. Like, okay, first and foremost, how are they going to get it up
it's
there?
A bunch of issues.
Two. How's it going to stay up there?
Exactly. They're supposed to put it in orbit. To me, to put something in orbit, like it has to be far enough from Earth to actually stay in said orbit, right?
Okay, so the moon in itself is like 47,000 kilometers away, something like that. It takes 18 hours. I'm sorry. It takes 25 hours by space shuttle to get to the moon.
Listen, I'm just telling you what they do.
It takes 1 second if traveling at the speed of light to get to the moon.
Yeah, trust me, I know. Because I'm into all this shit. So to me, I'm like, why? The way I look at it is,
we're gonna have a conspiracy theory show. Is what we're gonna.
Oh, I can't wait till we do that. I can't wait till we do that.
We're just gonna have our own conspiracy theory podcast. Part of the Bait Networks family.
Yo, like that particular episode. Oh my god.
Episode. I'm talking a show.
That's what I mean. That particular show. Oh my god. Yeah. But anyway, with this one, it's like the way that our own government controls airspace. I don't think they're gonna let this fly. To them, they're probably like just putting it up over their said airspace, but it affects everybody's airspace. So I don't see it happening.
Trump would have major issues with that.
Oh yeah, I don't see it happening.
With him getting reelected in 2020, like he's
I don't think he's gonna get reelected.
I really have a hard time believing that he won't.
It's very hard.
And
to me, I'm 50-50 on it. To me, I'm 51-49 on it.
Okay.
51-49 on him not getting reelected. However, I do think that this midterm election vote, everybody's pushing the vote. I don't think it's going to work how some people think.
Exactly.
I think that, once you push a vote to get the people out of office that surround Trump, I think a lot of them people going to be chilling right nice.
I'm about to say November 6th is going to show you what's going to happen in 2020.
Yeah, you're right. But I just thought I should bring it up. Like, we might have, but that makes me think, and this is going to be a little conspiracy theory on the actual moon. If people, and they say we are not even a class 2 civilization, like we're on the bottom totem pole far as civilization goes. But if people can create an artificial moon and put it out there, let's say if they're really going to do this shit's going to work. Wouldn't that make you think that maybe our own moon may be artificial?
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
Why not?
Because the amount. Okay, so what are you saying? First and foremost.
Well, the way I look at the moon, what's complex to me about the moon is the shit illuminates by itself, right? They try to say that it's reflection from the sun. Well, how is it that the moon is getting a reflection from the sun, but no other thing on this planet or during dark time is getting a reflection from the sun? That's odd to me. So I'm going on an assumption that maybe the moon is self-illuminating. How? I don't know. That's a different topic. I don't know. But I'm just saying if people
I don't know anything about astrology, so I'm just listening.
If people are able to put that out there, who's to say that something else couldn't have put that out there? And if I'm going by reports that astronauts that have been on the moon claim that, they say that the moon is hollow or that it rained. Have you heard that before?
Of course, yeah, I've heard that.
You know what I mean? So if we're taking it again, I don't know if it's true or not. I've never been to the moon. I would love to go, but haven't been there. But if we're
Another
taking
life goal for Kev.
No, only way I go to space, and I've said this, only way I go to space is if they know they can
with
bring
Richard
me there.
Branson.
Like I said, when I win that lottery, we going on that trip up to the galactic.
Only way I'll ever go to space, as much as I love it, is if they can assure me 100% that they can bring me there and back safely. The thing is, they know, and I know they can. They can't 100% ensure that.
Who, Branson?
No, anybody. We watch live. Well, we didn't watch live, but we've seen live that shit blows up when you try to go into space. We've seen that.
Of course,
I'm saying, and even if something doesn't blow up, there's a bunch of complications that can go in there.
Absolutely.
So unless they can say, look, without a doubt, we can bring you to and from, I ain't going. I'm good. I'm good. But I'm just saying that to say, like, if that is the case, if what we're taking to the reports are if the case, couldn't we maybe think that maybe the moon was self-illuminating?
Nah. That's a pretty big light.
Only reason, well, it is a pretty big. Only reason I say that we maybe can think that is because we are able to create it. And like I said, we are not.
We don't even know what it's going to look like.
We don't know what it's going to look like. But I'm going by literally what they're saying. But as far as right now, we look at our advancement right now.
Because the thing is, you can see the International Space Station from the sky.
Yeah, I've seen a satellite from the sky, right?
Right. And I mean, you can look at a telescope and see the International Space Station.
Absolutely.
Right. Think of how small that thing looks compared to the moon.
Right.
Now, that is probably what China would possibly do to have it illuminating.
Maybe. But then you also have to look at it. You just said you got to look through a telescope to see this space station.
Yeah.
If it was bigger, you wouldn't necessarily have to look through a telescope. Think about that.
Well, no, because you're just only looking. Okay.
You'd be looking at through the naked eye. So I have to assume that they're going to put something out there with the naked eye.
Real quick, there's several complications with this. The first one is, all right. I'm going to wrap this up.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just
I promise. The first one is, how is the light going to travel from space gain to us? It requires a pretty large body for that to be able to do so. The reason why is because you know what the Northern Lights is, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you know what the Northern Lights is?
Aurora Borealis.
I say it's little rays and shit.
I want to see that too.
Yeah, me too. That's number one on my bucket list. Yeah. But do you understand why we're seeing rays in the way that does?
Can't say that I do. No.
So what's basically happening is sun rays coming from the sun shoot out across the universe. Now, it takes some time for it to illuminate to certain bodies, such as Neptune. It took us forever to find that out.
Right.
We actually had to use math to figure out where Neptune was. And let's be honest, we got a little lucky on that. Same thing with Pluto. Jupiter is huge. Saturn is huge. So the way that works is that literally sun rays are coming in and that it's being curved by the Earth's gravity because it's not hitting us directly. That's what's probably going to wind up happening with China.
And then I think it's about, I agree with you. It's a bunch of complications. I'm just, on the moon aspect, it just makes me think. Like,
is the moon hollow?
I don't know. I've never been to the moon. For all I know, it's
I mean, I've never been to the moon either.
I don't know.
But how deep would we have to go to
exactly? How deep is it? It's a bunch of questions with it. I'm just throwing out theories.
I'm not saying that there's not a part of it that doesn't wind up becoming hollow.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But I mean, I'm thinking like a truffle. Like a truffle.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Right.
Like a thin layer, few feet down, and the rest is hollow.
All right, Kev, we're going to come back here tomorrow, and we're going to start this conspiracy show.
Let's open up the show with aluminum foil hats. Like, good morning or good night, wherever you are. Oh man,
This ain't the noise. This is now the voice.
exactly. It comes to all kind of new places.
That's the spin-off show.
Opening theme song. Opening theme song is just a Rick and Morty theme song.
It gotta be something simple. You gotta be like a little.
I'll
be a
purposely
bell.
make my hair like stick up all the way. Come in here in a fucking lab coat and shit.
Right.
No, listen. It has to just be a bell, just ding, and then the show starts.
The show starts.
You get right to the shit. It's like, this is so important. We don't need to open anything. Ding. Good morning or good night, wherever you are.
How do we know that we're actually here or not? What if this is a simulation or not?
I don't believe that.
You gotta do the Wayne's World.
Open it up with like the Twilight Zone theme song and just read the whole Twilight thing.
Hey, yeah,
Twilight
listen,
Zone thing.
I'm a master at editing, so I can have y'all just floating in space, riding alien spaceships and shit, just all whole time.
Here is why the moon's not hollow.
I don't know where the hell the last part of this episode went, but great episode nonetheless.
Yeah.
Dave, we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming through. I was gonna say you guys
I
or someone on this
appreciate it.
fourth mic. Dave, let the people know where they can find you, sir.
So currently, I'm still the co-host Back to the Classics and also Reel It Back. We are on hiatus. Our season has ended. We will come back to you hopefully relatively soon. Shout out to Jay on that. Hopefully you have a speedy recovery. But you can always follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook at David Danger Neff. I talk to you, you talk back. We could talk conspiracy theories or movies or whatnot. I was just thinking about the movie Creed 2, and I remember watching like Rocky 4. I really want to like tell Michael B. Jordan that he has to open that fight just like how Apollo opened the Ivan Drago fight, which is a 20-minute dance theme song with James Brown. So maybe we can find a way to get Drake involved with this.
Hey,
And then he's like, and then he's gassed for the first like 5 rounds, and the other Drago's just kicking the shit out of him. Right?
Other Drago.
Drago too is kicking the shit out of him before he like finally gets back and like fights because he doesn't want to die like his
But
dad did.
it gotta be like Drake
Because
motivation.
that was the problem. Like Apollo was gassed,
Right.
with
the
it after the
dancing
first round because he just did a 20-minute dance number.
True. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, I think the Russians still would have beat his
He may still got his ass whooped that day.
Look,
But
let's
this
face
time
it.
Adonis Creed can come back. He's got Drake in his corner.
Look,
feeding him motivational lines. That's all Drake do. Come on, man, you can do it. I believe in you.
Let's face it. Apollo was not in fight shape. He was in dance shape more than anything.
Yeah. Tis true.
All right, so you can follow me Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. David Danger Neff. Talk to me, I'll talk back. And you can always catch all of our old shows of Back to the Classics. Those are all uploaded on Spotify, iTunes, pretty much anywhere that you can listen to a podcast.
If it streams, you can find them.
And same thing with our YouTube shows. We have done plenty of reviews. And for some of the summer movies, if you haven't decided to check it out, or you're looking for that $1 movie theater or wherever you're at, by all means, check it out, look at our reviews, and give us your thoughts.
Kev.
_Hollywood Kev on my Twitter, Hollywood Kev _ on my Instagram. I don't do Snapchat, so yeah.
Yep, and I already stopped doing Snapchat. So
Really?
Big Los IG on IG. And yeah, that's gonna be the only spot. And continue to reach out again to the people that came down from San Diego. My bad for forgetting y'all name, but y'all are great people.
Right,
Appreciate the
thank you
conversation
so
afterwards. At the Noize Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and of course everything Beat Network at beatnetworkonline.com. Again, David Danger Neff, appreciate you coming through, sir.
Thank you.
Can't wait to get this one out. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate the support. And as always, it's Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
It's the Noize.